in Dodson against the true freshman and Hunt. UCLA, Washington coming up next. For number 24, Washington, their second straight week ranked in the AVCA poll against UCLA. Starting lineups powered by Unleaded 88, Engine Smart, Earth Kind. UCLA working on being lower error with their hitters.
They look to eliminate the hitting errors. It's been somewhat of an issue, especially late in sets. Talking to their coach, Alfie Ref, that is one of the adjustments they want moving to Washington.
That'll be key for Kiki Horn and their outside hitters in particular, I think. And for Washington, you'd like to look at Imani Bush and this duo they have on the right side in their 6-2 offense.
It seems like over a quarter of their offense coming from the right side. They run a 6-2 system. We'll dig into that. With two setters on the floor, it means they have three primary attackers in the front row at all times.
UCLA will start out with Kat Lutz, who is their secondary libero, new rule this year, and she is able to play alongside Peyton Dewick and serve. Julia Hunt gets an opening attack. I think it Wessels in the middle, number 12 in those black uniforms for Washington. And it's a point for the Bruins. Kat Lutz went on a 9-0 service run to bring UCLA back from the dead against Nebraska. They won the third set, lost the match in that one. That was shoved into the net by Kiki Horn on a very gettable ball, and it's 1-1.
And you can see the target early against Washington. Audra Wilmes has been the target through the first 2 weekends of play in the Big Ten Conference. So from that serve receive, she's got to be steady.
Wilmes had 52 serve-receive passes of the team's 66 against Wisconsin. She passed nearly every time, as this time Kiki Horn, the freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina, tips it down.
A couple keys to look out for the Bruins. I think they have to be able to stay in system in this matchup so they can find their middles early and really open up that pen attack, and also, like we mentioned, eliminating the hitting errors.
Their right side attacker Grace Olson behind the service line. Serves at Lauren Bays. Here is Ensley going high hands. Horn with a swing. Finds the corner.
Swinging deep into the court. Check this out. Out of system play. This is what you want. The really tough attack. Considering that ball's coming over her shoulder. She has zero vision to the court behind her.
Now Julia Hunt comes in for Wessels. And Washington puts their 4-year starting libero, Lauren Bays, senior from Orange County, behind the service line. She's going to hit the top 10 in the program history in digs pretty soon. Flips the net cord. Kiki Horn into the hands. Some hitter coverage there for the Bruins. Allows Horn to swing again. And she misses just to the outside of that line. Take a look at Washington head coach Leslie Gabriel. She has been here for 28 years as a player, assistant, and now head coach.
And it's so fun because growing up as a kid in Washington and playing volleyball, you always knew when Leslie was coming into the gym. I remember when I was going through my recruitment in the Pacific Northwest, there is just something about her presence, her aura. She's a tactician, and she also has an incredible spirit, and the Huskies are lucky to have her at the head coach position.
Surprised they let you back in here.
I know.
Washington State Cougar.
I spent a lot of time in this gym. Even growing up, though, this is where I'd come to play amateur tournaments.
So certainly you have that reverence, you were telling me, for Coach Gabriel. Had some battles against her when she was an assistant. Here is Hunt, who we feature off the top.
And I love this. In-system pass, get the middles going early. And they run just a little bit of a hung one. So this is what's called a quick attack through the middle. But you can see how that ball starts to drop, and it allows Hunt to kind of pick and choose the direction she wants to hit that ball. It's what's allowed her to be so effective through this season.
So it's just a fraction slower than a normal middle quick that you would see, which opens up those options, as you said. That's into the antenna on the slide attack by Anna Dotson. Didn't work out there, but we expect a heavy diet of slides from UCLA, and that's a key matchup, the UCLA slide against the left side Washington block. Huskies up 5-4. As a part of their 6-2, Alexis Howry, the freshman setter, is now in. Audra Wilmus picks up a dig, left hand tip. Ensley just finds a way to score when she's out there.
Yeah, and this is something that absolutely stood out on film throughout this week. It looks as if the Washington's outside hitters do a really nice job of kind of mixing up their shots. They get creative, and that's even with her left hand. Gets past her right shoulder, still coming away with the point.
Solid pass by Kate Riley. Behind the setter there, Hunt. Free ball over. Could have been a double right there, potentially, I thought. A swing for CUNY Fletcher. Sheridan Leverett is blocked, gets it on the reload, and Leverett, the junior from Georgia. And UCLA head coach Alfie Reft, also in his second year, just like Coach Gabriel, and had the distinction of going to Paris this summer, winning a silver medal as an assistant coach with Team USA.
Yeah, and it's been really fun to have the discussion with him in regards to, he called it almost like a fever dream. It was so wild, and you go straight from Paris right back into Big Ten play.
But he's still processing the emotions. Hunt turns that one and scores for the Huskies.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Her ability to bring the ball back to the right side here. And to utilize your middle in transition is so tough. The connection is even more strained at that point. So that little bit of levity on that set creates the connection.
Pretty good serve by Ensley, but UCLA passes well, recovers, and Leverett is able to convert.
Washington, it looks as if putting up a bit more of a line block against UCLA's attackers. And from the outside, they've gone heavily into that cross court, coming away with one there.
Sheridan Leverett has been pretty high error lately, but is their top point scorer this year. This connection there between Wilmus, the hitter, and Howry. So Audrey Pack goes back to serve once again. She's coming off back-to-back matches with 50 or more assists and 5 or more blocks. UCLA lost the last couple in 5 sets last weekend against Minnesota and against Michigan. A couple of back-breaking losses. They were close, though, in those. And some learning experiences for their team. Olsen with a swing. Dug by Zoria Hurd. Now Wilmus cross-court.
Such a steady swing from Wilmus. That's about a 70% shot right there in terms of her power output. It's great control. This allows her to see the block. And what a recycle play. First the contact in middle back, and then the directional attack from Wilmus.
You really had that gauged precisely. 70%. I like it as the serve misses. Want to hear some more numbers now the rest of the way.
Oh, don't worry, I've got plenty.
Doubt that. So even at the start in what is the 84th all-time matchup between these two teams. And believe it or not, they're tied in this building. This is the 43rd time these teams have met in Alaska Airlines Arena. 21-21 all time. Audra Wilmus, who is in there because Kirsten Barton has been injured. But Wilmus has been a good fill-in player the last few years for the Huskies.
Well, and that's another great swing from Wilmus. Her ability, even though the first contact goes awry here, the offense run well beyond the 10-foot line. She's still able to turn this ball back down the line. Not easily done. Threading the needle is Wilmus.
We were told Barton is available today, just wouldn't start. Barton has missed 7 straight matches, so we'll see if she gets out there at all today. She had a knee injury that she injured on the Colorado trip in the Buffs tournament that they won, and then re-injured it home against UC Davis. It's been out a long time, might be on her way back soon, if not tonight. Barton is Washington's top option as Horn gets roofed. So it's extremely impressive, though, that the Huskies got off to a 13-0 start before that loss against Wisconsin without Barton for the most part, their top player.
Yeah, it really speaks to their depth of roster. And with Wilmes out there, she's seen every single serve. So she has been strained in that regard, but she had her best passing weekend just a few days ago, and it was really important. Leslie Gabriel having that conversation, saying it is a focal point for her in this matchup.
And the Huskies looking to get back on the winning track. You see Barton right there. A 4-0 run for Washington. Timeout, Bruins. Back in Seattle. State of Success is brought to you by State Farm. Lowest opposing hitting percentage in the league this year, Washington.
And right now, that is what's propelling them to this 12-8 lead in set one, as UCLA is hitting negative 133, and it's behind the strong block of the Huskies.
You might be asking, for those of you that are a little bit new to volleyball, as Olsen helps that hitting percentage, what does it mean to hit negative? That means you have more hitting errors than kills, and errors meaning you either hit the ball out of bounds or were blocked down to the court.
And another educational point too is a lot of times people ask, well, what is a good efficiency? For an outside, I'd say anywhere above 280 to 300, you're doing all right. Middles, you should be about 300 based off of the opportunities you see, and especially the right side, I'd say above 300 is a good number as well.
Well, you saw the right side swing from Audra Wilmes, who had to fill in her freshman year as a right side. She's never been expected to start for Washington, but has found her way in due to injuries every single year. She's a junior.
How about the shift on serve receive? Love that from Washington. Oftentimes they will start to use this, kind of have these two-person serve receive rotations.
Wilmes into the net right there. So what does that shift accomplish?
A little bit of a pressure release for Wilmes on the pass. So even now, if you look at Washington's serve receive, they have two back there. This means that they have a lot of ground to cover. However, it allows your attackers to focus on just that.
Simplifies the communication a little bit as well. As long as you can get to the ball, typically you know whose ball it's going to be.
And don't get me wrong, it's not optimal. If you could have three passers back there, you want three passers back there. But if your best option is to have two that cover more ground, then they're going to go with it.
Certainly Bays, who's serving now, can cover ground back there. Pat behind to Dodson. That's such a great connection, especially behind the setter to their middle, Anna Dodson.
And Dodson has been working on this slide, and look at how far this is. That's about a 20-foot slide attack. They want to utilize her. They're using a 5-1 system, which means Pack is in the front row. She only has two primary attackers, so to be able to utilize Dodson from pin to pin, or excuse me, to the right side pin, really opens up the offense.
Wilson to Imani Bush, dug by Olsen. Leverett tips, now Bush again. They like to feed Imani Bush. Doing it for a long time at the University of Washington, was injured all of last year, and finding her form.
They have utilized the right side attack significantly between Imani Bush and Fletcher. They are at about 32% of the distribution through the season.
Ace serve, Alexis Howery. When you say distribution, that's just simply how much they get set.
Yeah, it's your total number of attempts, and it's kind of figuring out where the ball and where the attack is coming from. So oftentimes coaches will tell you, like Leslie Gabriel, that they want to be able to have an even distribution. However, if you've got an attacker like Dodson, you want to see her have a significant number of attempts. It's kind of just a good barometer as to where the ball is going.
Of course, we got to remember, I'll wear this one. We got to specify which Dodson you're talking about with UCLA as well. They have two Dodsons. Anna and Leilani are both typically starting middle blockers, although right now Leilani is not in. It's Brooklyn Briscoe, number 4, who just came in, is in the front row. And Alfie Ref likes all three of his middles, believes that they're all very capable. There are some small nuances, matchup to matchup, that determine who will play. Typically, you'll see Anna in there, but especially between those second and third middles, as Briscoe gets an easy one right there, the freshman from San Diego.
Big opportunity for Briscoe to have an impact here. Watch for Inslee on the right side.
Briscoe has not played the last 3 matches after appearing in the Big Ten opener against Nebraska. Inslee tips to the floor.
And they're going to test the mobility of the middle block for the Bruins now. Ability to go pin to pin. Also getting pushed back. This is the off speed. You don't always have to hit the ball hard. It's a little change up.
And Inslee in particular so good at scoring in different ways. It's also Washington's best point scoring server. That serve was passed pretty well. It sets up Leverett, and that ricochets all the way back and out for the Sheridan Leverett kill.
The kill was beautiful, but the set was even prettier. And the reason I like it is because there was plenty of space off the net. Look at how Pack delivers this ball. You can see from the balanced landing of the attacker, that's how you can tell whether that set was exactly where they needed it to be.
How about a right side hitter, Grace Olson making that pass as well, and a perfect pass. Peyton Jewett comes up with an early dig. That was thrown at the Washington setter on purpose. So Bays to Wilmus. Olson, well done.
And they're going to look to use Olson on that right side as much as possible. Really impressive right now, both teams being able to find points with tips. But at the same time, if I'm a down defender, a tip should not be falling. You want to find those. It's transition opportunity.
Saw Bays on that replay, just couldn't quite read it. So a 2-point differential. Bays with the pass, an okay pass. Now Fletcher hits high and no touch. So the Bruins are back within 1.
Errors starting to stack for the Huskies. Have to pay attention to that first ball side out. Causing problems here.
It's a 5-1 run for UCLA. And they've scored 3 straight. Hunt misses, and it's tied in the first set.
She got just a little bit more underneath that attack, actually making contact well behind her head. Hard to get the snap she needed to keep that in bounds.
Not long ago, it was 16-11 Washington. Targeting Bays. Fletcher, the South Carolina transfer.
I think it's more about targeting space, right? In that situation, again, with Wilmus moving out to the outside, this is a great serve. You can see how Wilmus already on the purple on the exterior of the court. She was ready to look to attack.
Well put. I mean, you're not normally going to try and serve at the libero, but UCLA having some success given the situation, and Brooklyn Briscoe converts to tie it back up.
A huge opportunity here, tied at 18 apiece. I'm impressed with UCLA's grit. Don't forget, this is a team that has come from behind several times, even as of recent. And talking to Alfie Rept, he said, this is the juncture we have to pay attention to. Right about that 20-point mark, can we eliminate hitting errors? Watch out for that in this first set.
Well, he said you got to make the other team play in these situations. They're starting to ramp up the service pressure. Doesn't matter there. Wilmus terminates.
That is an impressive swing just inside the middle block and the down defense. She splits the difference between the block and libero. Wow, that's incredible.
Molly Wilson is in, and she is the server, the other setter for Washington, along with Howery. Overpass well blocked by the Bruins. Hurd has to set Wilmus tight to the net on the dig, and the Bruins scramble. Wilson back set. Bush had an opening.
Love the tempo in transition. Watch the flight of this ball on the set. Love the hustle from the Bruins, but how quick can they get this all the way to the pin, allowing for the ball to be attacked down the line?
Grace Olsen rattles it off the block. Kiki Horn into the block and out of play, back within one.
Yeah, and with a little bit of the turn of the wrist as well. That's a well-formed block in front of her. She does a nice job. We call this a tool, going up, using the hands, and block the ball back out. That is a next-level swing.
Something you got to do, right, against Washington, given how good of a blocking team they are.
It's something you have to do in the Big Ten. It's something you got to do if you're in the top 25 to be able to score points. The blocks just get bigger and bigger, and you can guarantee out of system they're going to shade to the outside attack.
Back to where UCLA started with Lutz serving. It was touched quickly enough by Wessels that it was legal, but comes back quickly the other way, and a Dodson kill.
This is a crazy set right here. Check this out. Pack almost off her left shoulder side sets. You very rarely see this. From shoulder to delivery. She kind of turns and face. I haven't seen a set like that in a minute.
Pack's first year as a starting 5-1 setter. She's been their leading assist getter in the past, but in a 6-2 offense. So in a bigger role this year, the UCLA setter. Here she is. Dodson, timing was off, so Bays was right there. Now it's Bush from the left side. Another tip kill.
And the volume is increasing. Washington still using this baby tip just over the top of the block. There's so many different places you can go with the tip, but the control of the arm swing, slowing that down right at the last minute. There is just nobody home for the Bruins over the top of the block.
Audra Wilmus serves UCLA out of system. And has the dig kind of tight, though, and that is an illegal back row attack by Molly Wilson. You always know it's a back row setter for Washington in the 6-2 offense, so they can't jump up with the ball at the height of the net, over the height of the net, to put the ball on the other side, inside that 10-foot line.
It's almost like personnel packages when you're thinking about football, right? So if you're at 11 personnel, you got the one tight end, one running back. Well, in volleyball, when you're talking about a 5-1 system or a 6-2, that means you have one setter and 5 attackers, aka your receivers. And on the 6-2, that means that you have 2 setters on the floor, and then you can use each one of those opposing attackers. You'll have 3 primary attackers in the front row.
Power tip attempt by Horn. Now rolled over Ensley. Nice touch by Duick to Horn. Same spot, and that time it's down. And UCLA has taken the lead. So Leslie Gabriel calls timeout late in the first set.
And what a way to do it. A shot we have not seen yet, pushing this ball back down the line. The Bruins trailing 16-20, 14-22, and then they still end up taking those sets. But it is about a level of maturity, according to Alfie Rest, in terms of his team. He says, we can come out strong. We don't have to play from down that many points. But you can see the trends now in this one.
He had a little bit of a sense of humor about it, like, hey, we don't always have to be putting ourselves in these situations. I'm trying to remind our players, but that being said, they've shown their ability to recover when they are down. I mean, especially against Nebraska, when they went on a 10-0 run to come back from down 8 and take a set. Bush ties it up once again.
And I'm a little surprised the Bruins didn't press their block further to the pin. Just understanding Bush is here. You can see they leave quite a bit of space. I might have kind of shifted my block that direction.
She's someone you want to focus on. Bush is 4 for 7, tied at 22. And UCLA gets 1 point closer. First to 25 here, win by 2. Best 3 out of 5 in sets. And the first set in Seattle.
Dodson back into the mix too for the Bruins. Watch for the outside attack potentially down the line here from Ensley.
Former beach volleyball star at Stanford, Kate Riley, misses the serve. The grad student transfer who played 4 years for the Cardinal. piece service miss, and we're effectively at deuce in the first set.
Eliminating hitting errors was the conversation, but that can be said as well from the service line at this point.
Freshman setter, Alexis Howard. Good serve and an ace serve to give Washington set point.
Crazy, that was right on the platform. Just a little bit of a shake off the contact. What a time.
Her second ace in the first set. She has both Washington aces thus far. Freshman from Silverton, Oregon, who said it was her dream her entire life to play at the University of Washington, going to their camps growing up, despite growing up in Oregon.
Watch the serve to the right back corner, trying to eliminate the slide.
Tight on the pass, and it's off the Washington block and out. What a great play by Audrey Pack.
And that is sneaking one by, because that pass was very, very tight. Getting a little bit lucky here. See, they were trying to find the out-of-system play for the Bruins, and of course that slide attack, but nonetheless, sneaky.
Only would have been legal with Pack as a front row setter, which of course she was, so lucky in that regard too. Ensley, nice cover play by Lauren Bays off the block, sets up a chance for Fletcher, but now Leverett blocked, covered by the Bruins. Leverett blocked again. Washington, one of the best blocking teams in the nation.
Back to back for the Huskies. I love the rhythm change to those two blocks. That's great eye work as a blocking team.
Set point number 2. Well passed by Olsen. And right to the floor, Sheridan Leverett.
Man, when UCLA is in system, their offense is pretty to watch. Great tempo here. They're running the overload, so you can see the gap ball, the middle attack, trying to pull some of the blockers. They are unfazed, but just a better swing from the Bruins.
Overload meaning a couple of hitters in tight confines on that left side. Overwhelming the block with the numbers advantage, but Hunt answers, and another set point for the Huskies.
The fact that Hunt is the go-to out of the middle, and she's a freshman, just speaks volumes for the development of this program.
It was a freshman, 2 freshmen play. Howery, the setter, Hunt, the middle blocker. Out of system, Leverett. Howery, Wilmus. Diving play, but not quite enough from Duick. And Washington wins the first set, 27-25, to the delight of the fans.
What a brilliant first set between these two teams. You saw defense and blocking. You saw great attacking from the outside. So much offense, but the Huskies taking the first.
Well, we saw these two teams in Pauley Pavilion last year go to 38-36 in a set. Washington wins the first at deuce. UCLA and staves off the Bruins comeback with a 27-25 victory behind Audra Wilmus, who is again filling in for Kirsten Barton, more of a utility defensive-minded player, but she shined offensively in the first set.
She is at 364 in terms of her efficiency, which is pretty impressive. But then all of a sudden you take a look at the other attackers for Washington. You have 4 attackers that are over 300, 3 of which are over 400. So right now, this Husky attack has been doing a really nice job hitting 300 as a team. And Wilmus, she's seen the majority of the out-of-system stuff, right? As an outside attacker, you're seeing kind of the junk sets coming your direction. I've been really impressed with her control and her ability to stay very efficient in some of those situations.
You got to be eco-friendly out there. You got to know how to recycle stuff. And Wilmus has figured that out. And she is the starting server here for Washington in this second set. Grace Olsen, UCLA would love to hear that name more in this second set.
Well, and they're looking for a little bit of that mismatch. Maddie Ensley more of the undersized blocker in terms of the outsides for the Huskies. And you can see Grace Olson doing a nice job swinging high and deep into the court.
And Leslie Gabriel wants to protect Ensley when they can, put her in the most favorable positions as a blocker. Kiki Horn. Warren Bays digs. Now here is Ensley. Leslie Gabriel says she doesn't reach the highest, jump the highest type of player. Maybe doesn't even have the most power, but Ensley just finds a way to score.
She does, and I think the thing that you have to pay attention to with Ensley is just her competitive drive, her spirit. She's actually somebody that I coached years ago at Coast Volleyball Club, and it's the one thing that really stands out is just her fire, her intensity.
Anna Dodson, a slide kill.
And yet again, they're going right back to try and go over the top of that block. They're looking for the mismatch. In volleyball, you have 6 rotations, right? And so you can do something between sets called turning the dial. It depends on what rotation you start in. So you, depending on what rotation you start, you can switch those matchups. So Dodson right now on the slide attack against Ensley is the one that's slightly in favor of the Bruins.
Served by Riley off the top of the tape. Too, in regards to the matchups, because they're in a 5-1, Ensley technically has the matchup when she's attacking because Pack is the undersized blocker on the opposite side. And slide attack. So you say, expect a lot of offense on both sides when it's stacked this way, and Dodson converts.
I mean, and just like it, why go away from it if it's not broken? Right back to the slide, and what's the target? Right over the hands of Ensley.
Anna Dodson now in the back row, serving. Plunk blasts it down.
Running the 3 attack, and this one's actually pretty condensed. 3 in terms of the location that you're looking for, the gap between the blockers here. Pulling that back cross body.
She has a live arm, freshman Julia Hunt. Brooklyn Briscoe is on the back line with that swing. So Briscoe again getting the nod today so far over Leilani Dodson.
And even Briscoe running the slide. They didn't utilize it as much in the first set. You have to be able to pass the ball because the middle has to track all the way around the setter. If you're out of system, it becomes incredibly difficult to run the slide attack.
Well, Alfie Rep was telling us he loves all of his middles on the slide. And Washington loves Julia Hunt.
I mean, this is just a middle showdown right now. Have we seen anyone else take a swing in this second set? This is awesome. Middle showing up and showing out.
As a former setter, that must be something you enjoy. You always like to set the middle. That meant you were in system. And you had your choices, right?
Yeah, plus running the slide, it's just, I don't know, there's something about that connection, that setter-middle connection, just resonates.
Well, you feel like that sort of has fallen out of favor a little bit, but UCLA is showing how successful you can be with the slide.
Yeah, teams have gone towards the 6-2 offense in the past several years. Washington, a nice example of that because you have 3 primary attackers. But the slide attack is really hard to block because there's so many different opportunities for the middle to really kind of pick that ball clean. So whether it's in the pin or the interior.
Time in front of the setter to Briscoe. And Bays takes it, gives it to Wilness. Hold off the floor there, and UCLA scores with a tip. Great response by the Bruins, going pancake defense right to offense.
We got to take a look back at the pancake save here. The Bruins, remember from set 1, had several go down on their side of the net. You can guarantee this is something they discussed going into the second set. The off blocker now trailing underneath the block.
Kiki Horn was the one who got that pancake. The Bruins don't lack for effort right now, but a Washington side out.
Looks like there's been a bit of an adjustment from the Bruins defensively. Their off blocker, instead of pulling back to the 10-foot line, is actually starting to trail in just a bit more underneath that block, I imagine, to protect from the tip.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of finesse so far. So that response makes sense. Pack going down low to set up Horn. Nice dig, Zoria Hurd. Wilmus is rejected. That was Olsen and Briscoe with the
biggest block on the floor right now is Grace Olsen. You want to try and stay away from her. Hard on the out-of-system play, but you can see what a closed block this is from the Bruins. Great press, turning those hands and shoulders back into the court.
Kind of the issue Washington ran into against Wisconsin with the Badgers' size. Huskies got blocked a lot in that one. Wisconsin put a lot of balls away, despite both teams being insistent a similar amount. It was a blowout win for the Badgers. And touch is called there, so Kiki Horn earns herself a point.
Kiki doing a really solid job on her delayed approach. Here's a look at the touch off the block, but she hesitates knowing this is going to be a high ball set, takes a little bit of a stutter step before those last two, and earns the touch off the top of the block.
Horn brings herself back to even, 4 kills, 4 errors. Sheridan Leverett and, I should say Horn, 5 kills, 4 errors now. So she and Leverett are tied for the team high. As the stats update their point, Bruins a 5-1 run for UCLA. Timeout Washington.
And just like that, the Bruins now have the blocking advantage. 5 team blocks to 4 on the other side.
There's a battle right now in Seattle. And UCLA leads Washington 9-5 in the second set. Huskies took the first set at deuce. Coming off a Washington timeout. Wilmus right side, and she stays hot.
They continue to work that right side attack in that rotation. She's seeing the first ball side out each time, and she's been very efficient. Remember, she was a right side, so this is a very comfortable position for her. Great cross body, cross court.
Aggressive serve by Wilmus. Excellent save and set by Pack. What a play by the graduate setter from Moraga, California, Audrey Pack.
Just a little finesse off the one hand from Pack. Keeping that on her side and creating an offensive opportunity. Even behind the back. How about that?
More conventional set by Pack. Block touch against Anna Dodson. Now Imani Bush. Dug by Grace Olsen. Kiki Horn slows it down. Bays. Peyton Duick right there against Ensley. Tight set and a Washington pull.
I just like the Duick dig. I know they didn't come away with the point, but she is being so steady in the pocket in that left back corner. She's coming up with a dig off the hard-driven attack of Ensley. It's going to be interesting to follow the blocking trends in this second set. UCLA with 2 early blocks in this second, and now Washington earning 1.
Mentioned Duick. She leads all players with 8 digs so far. The Cal Poly transfer in her second year as a starter, 3rd year with the program. Bays to Ensley. Effective block touch, controlling the ball. Anna Dodson dunks it down for UCLA.
In an opposing gym, she just got an O out of the crowd. I think that speaks volumes. Even the fans who don't want to root for her still love that shot.
You can hear it. It was audible. A nice crowd here on a Wednesday evening. The students are all across from where this broadcast location is. See them all here in the lower bowl. Really excited for their 13-1 Washington Huskies. Washington was the last remaining Big Ten unbeaten before they lost to Wisconsin. Kate Riley to serve. She is UCLA's best server this season. Once again, Ensley shoves it down, left hand deposit.
She needs a separate category on the stat sheet for left-handed attacks. Now she's got 2 with the left-handed throwdown. And you can see just after that replay, too, talking with her setter, saying, hey, we need a little bit of an adjustment, a little bit higher. But to me, I don't know. She's still walking away with the kill.
Sure, the official score and stat broadcast folks are like, we're good right now with the current categories, but thank you for the input. Washington comes up with an ace, and that was one of Leslie Gabriel's first keys to us for this matchup because, as you said, UCLA is so good in system.
Well, and watch where this ball is served. It's to the right back corner, and this makes it harder to run the slide because the ball is going to come over the shoulder.
Howry again. She's up to 4 aces tonight.
Yeah, she's hitting that seam right now between middle back and right back. It also messes with the patterns for Dodson. Look, she can't transition to the middle of the court like she'd like to be able to create that path.
That serve more gettable by Duick. On the reload, Leverett. Tonight, it's when in doubt. We're going to tip on both sides, it seems like. Dodson in transition is roofed. Ensley was right there for the slide.
Oh boy, this is more than just a stuff block because it leaves a statement behind. This has been the mismatch. Ensley has been hit over and over and over again. This time she gets her hands on one. And that's going to make Dodson think twice about going back down that line.
You mentioned her competitiveness. I loved Coach Gabriel's comments on how her and the team have kind of gotten acclimated with each other over the years. Her personality, it's an intense one, so she has to learn how at times you need to manage it a little bit, and the teammates also need to learn who she is.
Yeah, and it's actually something I remember when I was coaching her, that it was always a conversation about celebrating it and meeting in the middle. So understanding your competitiveness, your emotion, and displaying that, and understand that's true to who you are. But then there's the other element, too, of needing to bring in others alongside you, and Maddie has truly matured in that sense, and it's so fun to see her competing here in her senior year.
She's the remaining thread from their Final Four team in the COVID year. The only player who was playing that season who is still with the team. Bush was on the roster but wasn't playing yet.
Just a final thought on Ensley, to your point, Leslie calling her a competitive warrior. I think that's a great description.
Yeah, she's definitely the emotional leader. Now we see Kirsten Barton will come in for Kuhn Fletcher. Barton with her first appearance since September 15th and a UC Davis match when she re-injured the knee. And Barton would theoretically be the top offensive option on Washington when she's healthy.
And the question will be, is she playing right side or outside? Because Wilmes is still on her floor, so she'll be moving to that right side. Wilmes lined up now as the OH. So using her in a little bit of a different way.
Yeah, I mean, not only coming in off of injury, the extended absence, but different position for Kirsten Barton, and Leverett just hits it right over her. And UCLA up by 2 in the set.
Just a difference in timing of the block here. The pin blockers are responsible for having the communication and timing of the block, so you go up at the exact same point to create the wall. Just not quite there for Washington.
Sheridan Leverett finding the seam. 6 kills, 1 error, 15 swings. Bruins with the service error.
Interesting rotation here for the Bruins. Everyone's stacked to the left side of the court, all the offensive weapons. So that means they're going to have to disperse after contact.
Here they go. And the serve wound up bouncing right back down there toward the left side, and Washington starting to rack up the aces. Julia Hunt comes up with the 6th Huskies ace. Another challenging serve. Absolutely crushed by Sheridan Leverett. We're seeing her physicality.
Important to get out of that rotation for UCLA. Again, there's just a lot of traffic that has to disperse here. You can see how Grace Olson, she has to hesitate just to get out of the path. That is a really nice swing down the line there to get out of that rotation for the Bruins.
Things are right. It's pretty impressive for Leverett. Has struggled with her efficiency in recent matches, but playing really well tonight. Here is Barton, and that's her first kill coming back into the lineup for Kirsten Barton, the sophomore all Pac-12 freshman teamer last year from Chandler, Arizona.
And I love that the Husky fans are excited to see her on the floor. As soon as she was subbed in, you could hear the oohs, the ahs, and this is a crowd that is excited for Barton to be back and ready to go.
It's a case where they're just maybe easing her back in a little bit. Didn't start, but they said she was available. Somehow saved over, and that'll be a kill. That should be a kill for Zoria Hurd, somehow.
I think she is as stunned as everyone else in this arena. Left hand over the top, off the net trickler.
Zoria Hurd.
A kill is a kill.
Yeah, I think so, and it's the first kill for Hurd as a Husky. Timeout, UCLA.
Him for so long, so just an incredible experience. And again, now he can take that experience right here as a head coach for the Bruins.
He's doing it in his second year. He most recently was the associate head coach for San Diego. And they went to the Final Four, of course, in 2022. First time in their program's history. He was right there. Went to the Final Four pretty recently with Illinois back in 2018. So he's been taking some teams pretty deep as an assistant coach, now hoping to do so as a head coach for a UCLA team that is top 5 historically all time in most national titles. Just lately, the well has gone dry a little bit for them. Wilmes tries to chop that one and misses short, so UCLA takes a couple in a row off of their timeout.
And I believe that's actually her first error in this rotation on the right side through the first 2 sets of play. Not first error overall, but just in this rotation.
Well, her second error overall. She's been efficient overall as well. Lutz serves. Now Wilmes bashes that one, makes up for it right off the hands.
And the Bruins know it's going there. They actually loaded their block that direction, but it's the high hand swing. Perfect pass, and right back to it. Actually, Bruins almost a little bit late on that block, jumping out, excuse me. See the replay there.
8 kills, 278 for Wilmes. Dodson got all of that one from the middle.
I feel as if we should be saying Dodson's name more and more often. They need to find opportunities to get her the ball. If she can have a contact point like this, you should be setting here 90% of the attacks. I mean, it's just phenomenal to have that out of the middle.
Remember, her efficiency was down to start the year. Alfie told us that they tinkered with the tempo on the sets a little bit the last couple of weeks, running a little bit faster to Dodson. After the scramble, here's Ensley. Horn into the hands. This is going to have to be Horn again. A collision. She's able to work her way through and get the free ball over. Wessels, that is rejected there. I was trying to figure out what side that came down on for a second. It's a stuff block and a point for UCLA.
Some really nice defense in the middle of this rally. Look at this up. Another pancake. And here is the press taking away the scouting report. I love that from Dodson. 12 loves to go that direction on the middle attack.
You were saying that was the first thing you noticed with Wessels, that she has a tendency there to hit away from her body like that.
Yeah, she absolutely does. It's a little different when she's running the 3 attack, but out of the middle, she likes staying for the left back.
These have been tight sets. Been crawling along here, point by point in the first 2 sets. A lot of ties and lead changes. Kiki Horn, the freshman, one of 2 newcomers starting for UCLA, shoves that one, doesn't get a touch, and another tie.
And the reason the Huskies are sticking with this right now is because of Ensley's block getting a hand on Dodson on the slide. Even though they're not getting a stuff block, they are able to get a transition play back out of it.
Same story Coach Rep was telling us about. Said a lot of Big Ten matches. You're going to see 19-19, 20-20. Can we be low error and make the opposing team play when it counts? And a timeout taken by UCLA. That is the question right now for the Bruins after Washington took set 1 at deuce. They went to the Final Four in spring 21. She was the AVCA National Assistant Coach of the Year. She was a 22-year assistant coach for Washington. Keegan Cook left for Minnesota, and she took the job now in her 2nd year. And Ensley with a hitting error, and it's 20 apiece.
They needed to get out of that rotation for the Bruins. They were kind of stuck with Dodson running the slide and then the outside. So that is a huge opportunity.
Finish up on Coach Gabriel. One other thing she added was that it's been a process where she's had to learn, like in the past, she would pitch ideas to the other coaches. Now she has to make that final decision. She has learned to stop second guessing herself. She said it's like raising a kid almost. If you make a mistake, you don't have time to dwell on it, you move on. As Julia Hunt kills it.
Yeah, no, it's a great reference, right? The ability to be a parent, be a coach. I'm pretty sure they're similar in regards to the responsibilities and management of things.
That I wouldn't know, but I will trust her. I wouldn't know in either regard. But I will trust Leslie Gabriel on that. 21-20. Leverett swings high, flat, and successfully Sheridan Leverett with her 8th.
Can you believe how many swings we're seeing off the top of the block, over the edges? If you are a down defender right now, you want to try and stay at the depth of the court. That's why that tip's working, because you're having to chase down the high hand swings.
Seeing the defenses get stretched in either direction. UCLA hitting .312 in the set. They're out hitting Washington by 50 points for the match, even though the Huskies have the edge in sets. Been as close as it could be. Leverett, another tip, diving play. Kirsten Barton in her return. Pack, though, has the options off the block. It was controlled well, so Ensley blocked and covered, but Barton couldn't put it over.
I'm impressed with UCLA's ability to keep the ball alive. Here's a look, though, on the other side for the Huskies. Outstretched, we talk about the tip, but then ultimately the block of UCLA getting in front of Ensley.
Oh, Barton was kind of caught in between thoughts there if you wanted to set that ball or just go over with it. Here is Ensley to the floor. Key point for the Huskies.
Love the set choice against the grain for the Huskies. That means your setter's running forward, throws this ball the opposite direction. Watch how the middle blocker bites Briscoe for the Bruins.
Howry leads Washington tonight with 14 assists. Really well done by Leverett on a swing where she was pretty tight to the net.
But to go back to it again, Leverett continues to attack high hands. The Huskies' middle back defense is having to stay on the end line to be able to defend. It's almost as if it's like watching men's volleyball professionally, where you're putting the middle back defender on the outside of the court. Look, her feet are on the end line, trying to chase down those high hands.
By the way, Leverett with that kill has 9, is up to 400. She hit over 400 in the 2 matches against Washington last year. So she plays well against the Huskies. Here is Barton and a kill.
And Julia lost her shoe in the middle of that rally. She was playing shoeless.
Well, that's usually not recommended.
Yeah, you think? She actually just picked up her shoe and continued to run around the court.
Let's take a look. Good catch. I was ball watching there. Yeah. That almost became a mess, but Washington scores.
She even slipped like Bambi on ice.
Grace Olsen, crossbody, and out of bounds on the far side. So a set point for Washington. I think we're going to see a challenge here first. So Daphne Nelson, our R1. You just heard from Paul Martin, our R2. Washington, UCLA, 1-point differential, but this challenge is going to decide who has set point.
Critical call here. If the ball lands on the line, it is considered inbounds. This is looking like, woo, right there, it looks into me. Also great to see Paula. She used to coach, or she used to ref even my high school games. So we're talking 25 years ago. One of the best in the business.
That apparently was the best look we have, by the way, right there. And I'm going to agree with you. It seemed clear enough that it's in. We might actually get one more look.
After review, the ball was in. Point UCLA, they will retain their challenge.
UCLA with a great challenge out of Alfie Reft and their staff flips the set points.
That is a huge shift there for UCLA. What a time to use the challenge and have it go your direction. That's a coaching win right there.
Leverett the serve on set point. Wilmes blisters that one home. It's 24 apiece.
Adding one more kill to the stat line now. She's still just teetering under 300. Nice turn and delivery.
Up to a team best 9 kills. At deuce, it's Barton. Kiki Horn, another UCLA set point.
UCLA's pin attackers very impressed with their ability to swing high and deep into the court. It's a little taste of their own medicine on the side of Washington. That's what they've been notorious for decades.
This is their serving specialist, Kat Lutz. Don't miss a good pass. Here she is. Pass to attack. Block touch is on it. A chance for the Bruins. And Dodson ends the second set. UCLA wins the second set at deuce. We've gone overtime in each of the first 2 sets, and it's all even at 1.
UCLA understanding the difference in blockers Washington just on that last play going to a 5-1 offense. Their setter in the front row making the right decision at the right time against the small block.
UCLA 26-24. And we're even going to set 3.
Is calling or answering the call right now.
Each team has had one middle really play well. Dodson and Hunt respectively have good numbers for UCLA and Washington as we're underway in the 3rd set. First 2 sets featured 28 combined ties. They were as close as you could imagine in a kill by Kiki Horn to start the 3rd.
Something else that stands out defensively is that UCLA now tops Washington from a blocking standpoint. 5 total blocks as opposed to 3 for the Huskies.
That's not necessarily expected, considering how good a blocking team Washington has been. Wilmus, right side swing that falls down on the Bruins side. The first player for either team in double-figure kills, Audra Wilmus.
Talking back again about the block, even though this doesn't go the direction of Dodson. Dodson's block has been unmatched. She is now at 1.94 blocks per set in conference play. That's climbed from her 1.43 on the season average.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about conference games here. We're still very early in the season, but Dodson coming into the week, 12 more blocks than any other player in the Big Ten within conference play through only 4 matches. 35 blocks in 18 sets coming in. Overpass and Katie Wessel. They'll make it. They put in a new middle. It's Elise Haney. We have not seen much of this year. It's her 2nd set appearance of the season. Her only previous match played was Fresno State on the 6th, but she is their 3rd middle. She's going to play, it looks like, alongside Julia Hunt in this set, replacing Katie Wessels.
Scary moment here. A collision
Very
in the
scary.
stands.
Looks like Peyton Dewick is all right.
You love the effort, however, this is sending fear to the rest of the team.
I think she had to make a business decision there at the very end and realize that this was an untenable situation. She did everything she could to get to that ball, but had to protect herself at the last millisecond. Washington on a 5-0 run after that block, so the insertion of Haney is paying off, and UCLA has to burn an early timeout in the 3rd set. The substitution, at least what you think the rationale was, bringing in Elise Haney for just the 2nd time this year.
Well, it's pretty simple. Just look at the 6'4" next to her name, already having an impact in terms of the block and her ability to try and slow down the offense of the Bruins.
Remember, she was the starter last year. Got overtaken by Katie Wessels and Julia Hunt this year in the rotation. But Haney was in there all the time as a fixture last season. Now she's in her redshirt sophomore year, 3rd year with the program, 2nd year active. The Bruins get the side out coming off the timeout, and they put Olsen behind the service line. Short serve, an effective one, and UCLA has its first ace to Washington's 6.
That is very lopsided in terms of the Huskies having the advantage from the service line. They've got to have a bit more of this for the Bruins to get back into it.
Been a struggle this year, 16th in the conference in aces, but 2 in a row. Just like that for Grace Olsen.
And that's when you say, thank you very much, Net. This one stolen, trickled short. Not much you can do if you're the Huskies.
Three straight coming off the timeout, including 2 on the Olsen serve. Barton hit the antenna, and a 4-0 Bruins run.
And the hitting error, this is a 2-person serve-receive rotation for the Huskies with Barton pushed all the way to the outside. She's just about 3 feet behind the 10-foot line now. Here's a good look at it, but a lot of space to attack. And this is a short serve they just cannot get back. That's a second ace in the same regard.
Third ace overall in this one run for Grace Olson. They've made up half of that deficit. Washington with a 6-0 advantage in aces before Olson stepped behind the service line. She's got 3. Barton cuts in front to attempt the pass. It didn't work. Overpass, and Dodson slams it home. Timeout, Washington.
Creating a traffic jam with that serve. Short serve getting right in the way.
6-0 run to respond. Service pressure.
And this short serve, it actually is a different tactic. Beyond just trying to find the pressure, it takes Barton out of the offense because she has to shift into the interior of the court. And now the Huskies have already made an adjustment, going from a 2-person serve receive to a 3-person serve receive, forcing Barton into the serve receive rotation.
So let's see what Olson does in response. 6-0 run, 5 straight on the Grace Olson serve. Serves to a similar spot, but left it a little bit longer, and Bush is able to side out for Washington.
And it's not even that it was longer, it was the fact that Barton is actually in the serve-receive rotation, lined up with 3 passers instead of just 2.
A little bit longer.
Absolutely,
A little bit
but
longer.
she doesn't have to move into it,
Yes.
right? So that's the difference.
Point taken. So the adjustment in the timeout for Leslie Gabriel. I thought it was, the serve wasn't quite as good either. Haney with the serve. Second over there from Pack. Barton wants the touch, and the call is there was a touch. And Alfie Refts, I think, is holding the green challenge card.
Correct. Ball was called out. UCLA is challenging. Ball was called touch. UCLA is challenging that there was no touch.
So UCLA, of course, won that key challenge late in the second set. It gave the Bruins set point. They eventually won a few points later. It certainly gave them the upper hand going into deuce. So they have both challenges remaining. Win a challenge, you keep it in NCAA volleyball. And let's see, was there contact? There has to be definitive proof that there wasn't contact.
Really tough to see there. Oftentimes you want to look for that finger to kind of be pulled back or misdirected. Ooh, that's actually a good look. That's the look. There it looks like there's some purple behind that ball. Definitely not the left hand, but maybe the right hand got a piece of it. Ooh, actually.
I don't see anything yet. It looks like a touch.
Another good way to kind of find it is, did the ball change the directions in terms of the flight pattern, or did it increase spin or change the amount of spin on it? Sometimes that can be a good indicator. So
to you, we've seen a bunch of looks. Now we're here.
We're going to reverse the call. Ball was out. There was no touch. Point. UCLA, they retained the challenge.
Yeah, have to agree there, right, Cameron? I mean, we saw all the different looks, and there did not seem to be any evidence that the ball was touched.
And for the second time, Alfie Reft gets a second coaching point.
He was quick with the green challenge card that time, and he was right. Well, he knows what a touch looks like. He spent all those years playing libero right behind the block. He was an All-American twice at Hawaii. And Kate Riley with the serve. Here's Bush. That point Huskies.
I believe Dodson's first step on that move to the pin actually took her off the net. She had a lot of space between her and the net itself. Watch this first step. So she shades over, and yet that left foot actually just to the middle of the court.
Because normally on that type of swing, that shouldn't be a ball that falls in that regard, right?
Yeah, sometimes you just create a little bit too much space between your body and the net, so hard to close that off. And especially for middles, I mean, if you're a pin blocker, it's a lot easier, right? You only have to go one direction to block more often than not. I'd say about 80% of the time. You're either just moving right or just moving left. Middle blockers, you have to go both directions. There's a lot to think about and a lot to read.
Barton into the block, and this time Briscoe combines with Sheridan Leverett for the double block.
Speaking of reading, Briscoe with the perfect read. Slide, and instead of using a swing block, she uses what we call a hinge block. So keeping those elbows a little bit more at a 90-degree position and throwing them over quickly.
Service miss, point Washington. The redshirt freshman, Brooklyn Briscoe, if he missed it, she's just in there. Seems like a coach's strategic decision for Leilani Dodson today. Leverett makes a nice pass and has the attack. Barton lays out, but Leverett with the point.
Continuing to look at Leverett and her ability to find points. Space over the top, and even the off blocker, Wilmus, is underneath there, but the right back defender is the one that ultimately gets the touch.
He's one of those undersized outsides. Leverett listed at 6 foot tall. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but she was skywalking right there. She has that explosive jump, and when things are clicking, it looks really nice out there, the way you can connect.
And her numbers are just so impressive. 429 as an outside. 10 kills, 1 error on 21 attempts. Those are dream numbers.
And she really had the hot hand last year in both matchups against Washington, so tends to hit well against the Huskies. Dog big time by Bays right there. Now here's Wilmus in transition. A chance for the Bruins. Block touch, there again. Wilmus not gonna have a swing, instead on the overset. It was Olsen for a UCLA point. The Bruins have some separation.
They didn't walk away with a point, but this did. Pressing through that ball, incredible touch. But the quality of touch on that second contact after got away from the Huskies.
A lot of the numbers in this match are relatively even. Washington has the serving advantage. UCLA hitting more efficiently. There's Elise Hayes. How hard is it to come in when you haven't played a lot this year and try and produce?
I would say it's definitely challenging, but in the same vein, you also have a ton of adrenaline, especially in a matchup like this. And you're training every day. You're still getting the reps. You're still getting the connection. So it's more about managing the nerves and the adrenaline that's currently going.
Washington's middles have been so good this year. They haven't had to go to their third, but making the switch to Haney from Wessels tonight. Nice swing by Kiki Horn off the defense and out of bounds the opposite way.
And to the Huskies' credit, they've kept Kiki Horn at a low efficiency, just at 0.42. She's had the most errors on the side of the Bruins from the attacking phase.
Yeah, she's been terminal in both directions today. She's got 9 kills, but 7 errors. Just saved by Bays and sent over for a free ball. Nice job by Washington generating an offensive chance, but Lutz digs. Olsen hits line, saved again. Feeding Olsen, this time she scores.
Great digs on both sides of the net. Using the net as an extra contact. You're only supposed to have 3, they just utilize 4.
This has been a fun one in both ways so far. Seeing kind of that clash of styles where you know Washington can put some more service pressure on and block. UCLA, when they're in system, can be really efficient. Bush scores for the Huskies. So what have you seen through the first 2.5 sets? Who has the next big adjustment potentially to take that step ahead?
Yeah, it's absolutely a game of chess right now, considering the middle adjustment from the Huskies. Dodson, we haven't seen as much on the slide, so we'll see if she works there now.
Keep her in front of the center, obviously, with Olsen out there in the front row right now. And Olsen finds the floor. Now we could see the slide again with Olsen moving back to the backcourt and becoming a server.
Well, and it's a different mismatch now. You have Barton against Dodson instead of Inslee.
Barton was a pretty good blocker earlier in the season when she was healthy, again making her first appearance since mid-September. And as Bush tips it right to the middle.
Line-to-line serve here. Shortest distance.
UCLA has a right side hitter in their serve receive. That's fairly uncommon with Olsen back there, but Haney airs that out.
I'm surprised by the location of that, not just out of bounds, but I would have thought she would have gone line to line to try and minimize that slide attack.
What a story, Kate Riley, huh?
Yeah, just incredible. Kate Riley coming from Stanford, where she played 4 seasons of beach volleyball. She hasn't played indoor volleyball since high school, where she was playing at Miracosta in the South Bay. She's had to make some adjustments to her platform and her passing coming from the beach, but Kate Riley, one of the best teammates you can have on any roster.
Right on cue. Here she is with an ace. Alfie Rep said she's a silent assassin for them this year. She's been a stabilizing force. UCLA creating some distance, up by 5. Dewitt, pretty nice set, all things considered. They recycle it. And Dodson whips that down, put away the change there for the center pack. And let's
been impactful in terms of her maturity and just a calming influence to this team.
She was a state champion on both surfaces in high school. Pretty cool. Also, you have a similar story. I mean, even more dominant beach player in Delaney Maple going from USC to Indiana. Maple was a 4-time straight national champion for USC, becomes a DS this year for Indiana. Pretty cool to see a couple of those dominant beach players make the transition for 1 year to the indoor surface. Hune Fletcher is back in for Washington.
And it feels like the momentum is starting to shift for the Huskies. They're still trailing here, but with that swing, a little bit more in system on the attack.
Yeah, they're going to need a pretty sizable swing, though. They're down by 5 again after that miss serve.
And the miss serve's really killing the momentum. Now the second time that's occurred.
Now, how much of that is just, you got to serve tough against a team that's pretty talented offensively?
You absolutely do, and you're trying to add the pace, but at this point, it's also about finding some location.
All right, you've explained that to me before, too. A good serve isn't all about that pace. It's about picking the spot. Hunt, big swing from the freshman middle.
When Hunt is shifted just off of center, she actually really likes to bring this kind of crossbody back through the seam on the 3. UCLA understands this. Look at the shift here defensively from Kate Riley. She's taking that step to her right, trying to get in front of it, but there's just too much force.
Washington's best point scoring server is Maddie Ensley. Leverett Dug by Bays. D-ball for Olsen. We haven't seen a lot of that this year, but it crops up at an opportune time for UCLA.
And AJ, I love the call there. We haven't seen a lot of it yet, if you talk to Alfie Rev, the head coach for the Bruins, because this is a part of their offense that they want to start unlocking. However, they have a bit of work to do. It's all about the development, and that's a big step for them.
You were pouring through the film. You didn't really see much of that, despite Olsen playing usually one rotation of the three in the back row for UCLA. That D-ball leads to a Washington timeout. They've emptied the chamber within the set. On Saturday, match against Penn State, to say the least. And USC has been on the come up, so a huge win for the Ducks. And this one has been, like we talked about, almost as close as you could imagine, except for this latter part of the third set. Grace Olsen helping extend the UCLA lead. And service error for Pat.
Will Miss has seen a little bit of relief in the first contact with Barton having been out there. I know she's not now, but Barton has been the target.
Olsen in the middle. They're putting her everywhere, but she misses just a little bit long.
Well, and this is the rotation for the Bruins where they're stacked left. That means all three front row attackers are on the left side of the court. So they're running what we call an X play. Olsen hitting the 2-ball and Briscoe hitting the slide.
Got a good look out of it. And that serve fell off the table. Lauren Bays inches the Huskies closer.
And we've discussed the short serve. Now it's on the other side because it is getting right in the traffic. I mentioned the 2-ball. They're having to get through all of that. That takes Olsen completely out of the offense.
Both teams employ that similar tactic as the Bruins earn a key side out.
Well, and it's a great reminder, too, that your defense actually starts from the service line. You can be aggressive and offensive with the placement, the location, to start to eliminate some of the offensive opportunities that you could see coming back your direction.
With that kill, Sheridan Leverett up to 11. She matches Grace Olsen. They both have 11. Between the two of them, only 3 total hitting errors. Wilness is roofed. We've seen a few of those for UCLA. The block has been better than expected because Washington is the better blocking team on paper, but Brooklyn Briscoe stepping up alongside Olsen. Olsen got that one.
She got every piece of that, and the blocks continue to go the direction of UCLA.
There's an edge for Washington on paper, but UCLA leads 7-4 within the match. Coach Gabriel walked in trying to find a Washington comeback. Molly Wilson has run the more efficient offense more recently, so they've been using her as the primary setter in the 6-2. Howery's been really good today, though. And they score there, Bush, to make it a 3-point margin.
We haven't been able to say Bush's name as often. I would love to see her get utilized more in this offense. She's hitting .421. You got to feed her.
Olsen tries the tip. It's covered. Horn. Good job by Bays, recognizing that was wide, and it's got as close as 2 now. And Alfie Reft decides to press pause.
Couple numbers for you into this timeout. Bush at 450, Hunt at 636. So if you're asking me where are the weapons for Washington, I'm looking to find those two on the floor.
How do you try and set the ball in those directions as much as possible when you're in system without being, I guess, predictable? Because you run into that dilemma of, like, when you are in system, they kind of know you're going to try and feed either the middle or the right side.
No, it's a great question, but personally, I like to go to it until they can stop it, right? Until they can prove that they can slow down the offensive weapon. I don't care if they know if it's going there. If she continues to score, you keep feeding it.
It makes sense. Barton clearly still not 100% yet coming back in, or at least if she is healthy, maybe rusty today, coming in mid-match after not playing since mid-September. And so their other two outsides in Wilmes and Ensley, both very capable players, but not necessarily your top option. So Bush, Hunt, the two most efficient Washington players, a little harder to get the ball out there to the middle or the right side. And for UCLA again, Leverett and Olsen have been leading the way, both hitting at least 385, each with 11 kills. This one.
But don't forget about Briscoe as well. She's at 667. She is 4 of 6 without a hitting error.
Yeah.
Currently the middle on the floor for the Bruins.
She got 5 blocks too to lead everyone. So Briscoe is having a nice return to the lineup. Audrey Pack up to 33 assists. Wilson and Howley have 17 and 18 assists respectively for the Huskies. And UCLA goes right to Olsen off the timeout.
It's the exact same equation, AJ. Go to what's working. Now with 12 total kills, just 2 hitting errors. And they've got one more rotation with her in the front row.
UCLA, guarantee you, loves having Kat Lutz back there on a point like this. Nice pass by Bays. Put away, Wilmes.
Dotson taking a bit of a tumble on that. Looks like she's okay and good to go. Wilmes back to the service line now.
Huskies need 2 out of her.
Olsen still in the front row. Watch for the right front attack.
And the serves away from her. Tight pass. And a chance for the Huskies. Bays takes charge. Here's Bush. Block touch gets it. Over on 2, Audrey Pack for the set. That was a gutsy move by the UCLA setter.
It was the perfect move because you could not have imagined. She has yet to dump really in an in-system play. She goes with 2 hands and just drops it to the other side.
There was some conversation between Leslie Gabriel and the R2, but nothing further, no challenge taken. And there was a little pause, a little low, but they will accept the result there. UCLA wins the 3rd set behind Grace Olsen. Only 2 errors today for Olsen, but she has the 3 aces, 12 kills, hitting .476. And the remarkable thing too about Olsen, Alfie Reft was telling us that she is an outside hitter originally by trade, but they took a look at her swing mechanics and decided that the way she comes across her body, she's a better fit as a right side. And looks like that decision from the coaching staff has paid off.
Well, and currently she is leading the charge for the Bruins in terms of her total kill count. And just to give perspective, she's traditionally 4th in point scoring on this team. So she is having a huge night for them.
Of course, really helped flip that set around after the early UCLA timeout behind the service line when she had 3 aces in a short span in 1 run. After UCLA had been down 5-1 and was forced to call timeout. Another Bruins comeback. We were talking about the variety of flavors of comeback lately for UCLA. Even that massive 10-0 run against Nebraska. Here's Ensley. Bludgeoned by Kiki Horn for the point. Well, we've seen Washington really mix it up at the pin. We've seen, of course, they run a 6-2, so you're going to see more pins out there, but getting Barton back in the mix tonight. They've been rotating the lineup around. even in these different rotations, they tend to hit in different spots as well.
And throwing Endley back into that starting position for the Huskies.
And now she's out there with Fletcher, who converts.
Huskies with their back against the wall here, down by a set, and Fletcher goes cross body.
UCLA will not challenge this call. They might have had a reason to, but very early here in the fourth set, and a lot of time to make up for that point. And Washington takes a couple in a row. Endley gets to go and serve again.
Watch for the slide attack here.
Here it is, Anna Dodson. You called it, and they got the result they wanted.
And this is something they've been working on, speeding up the tempo of their slide and also kind of some of the positioning and approach patterns for Dodson. Really focusing on being able to run this at different points along the length of the net. You could see there, it wasn't a true slide all the way to the pin. It's a bit more of that half that we have seen middles running. So you're finding some different spaces, and the half works really nicely against the swing block because your mechanics aren't able to finish through on the block.
Not a full power swing from Wilmus, and Pack, who ended that last set with a setter dunk, misses the part there. How about that? To go back to that, we didn't have time to really analyze it. Pack, who they weren't really utilizing much, she wasn't choosing too much as an attacker throughout this match, pulled it on a very important point.
Yeah, it's so clutch to come up with one right at the last second on the fourth set. No one expected it.
He's up to 3 kills, but her attacks have been few and far between. A kill there for Sheridan Leverett out of Hampton, Georgia.
Leverett changing up her timing there, deciding to attack on the way down. And that enables the block to fall as well. A little less formed at that juncture.
She's a former Gatorade State Player of the Year in Georgia. They have 2 Gatorade Players of the Year on the outside. Kiki Horn won the award in North Carolina. Fletcher hits line, middle blocker, Dodson with the dig, and it leads to a kill, right back to Leverett, but a dig for Dodson.
And they just continue to attack the block over and over and over again. Here's the dig down the line from Dodson. You gotta love when your middle comes up with one.
Got one of those that will pull the film back up later this week, and everyone will get to enjoy that one.
Absolutely. I always love, though, when the middles had to pick up the tip, because that's what oftentimes teams will do when they see the middle in the back row. They'll tip in front of them, but that time was hard driven.
She handled it, but side out on the service error from Dodson. Brooklyn Briscoe had an efficient day so far, but a diving play by Bays. Nice save by her counterpart, Duick. Leverett went into the block. D-attack for Grace Olson. Bays keeps it up. Pack pushes to Leverett, and Wilson was trying to handle the thunder, but it struck a little bit too loudly.
Just unloading, but how about this save? Full extension, and then another good touch and hustle from the Huskies. But there's just too much power. Nobody's stopping that attack.
Leverett, 14 kills, just 1 error on 30 swings. Wilson has to race to get there. She can't. It's not an ace because it was touched, in fact, by multiple players, but a point-scoring play for UCLA on the serve.
Again, the efforts there, but that first contact has to be improved for the Huskies.
When we asked Coach Gabriel about what's on her list for improvement, she mentioned passing first. And Wilness is denied. UCLA has the momentum.
Huskies in a tough spot here. You have Wilness on the right side. This is where they've been effective on the first ball side out. One of the first times they've been able to slow her down.
Ace serve, Audrey Pack. At one point, it was 6-0 Washington in aces. The current count is 7-6 Washington in aces. Big response behind the service line for UCLA. Timeout, Huskies. You look historically and in the present, Washington, a serve and block type of team. And they've returned to that this year under head coach Leslie Gabriel, but the script has been flipped tonight. UCLA, known more for their efficient offense, has rattled off 6 of the last 7 aces in this match. And they have the big blocking advantage, at least in stuff blocks, 8-4. But Imani Bush comes off that Washington timeout and delivers the side-out blow.
And a little bit of a different look there for Bush, reaching very high over the top of Grace Olson's block.
Bays is getting down there for a few of these. She's been ratcheting up the intensity level. Leverett just going to town off hands.
If you're the Huskies, you're starting to get a little frustrated from a blocking standpoint because you're getting a hand, you're getting touches off of Leverett, but it's just not enough. You can see there's one transition opportunity. If you slow down, if you get a touch, you want to put away that next ball in transition because it's just so hard to slow down offenses in the Big Ten.
Washington missed the tournament last year for the first time in more than 2 decades. UCLA, very rare that they've missed the tournament back-to-back years. A couple of second-year head coaches looking to cross these minor speed bumps and raise the programs back up. So both programs in a similar spot, big picture. Washington off to a better start this season, but UCLA has brought it today. Coming off their pair of 5-set losses last weekend against Minnesota and Michigan. Bays, Ensley, close but out.
Ooh, I think that's going to be challenged. That ball.
It's close.
After review, the ball is in. Point Washington. They retained their challenge.
Well, your initial instinct was right. Trust your instincts, Cameron. Even after 1 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe don't trust your instincts as a general rule after 1 a.m. Eastern.
Leslie loving that as she has earned her own challenge and coaching point. Yeah, that had to be good call, good challenge.
But for that one in-out call, your instincts were solid, right on the money.
Now what can they do to pair it off? They have to find some defense.
So it goes from a potential 6-point margin. Think about it again. I love to say this, but it's true. Every point is a 2-point swing. Take one away, give one to Washington. So it's down to 4. They say Haney got there with the pancake. Doesn't matter. Ensley was blocked.
Well, and there's the tip against the middle blocker in the back row. Just like that, it pops up. Haney coming away with a good touch, however, couldn't double down on the defense.
I mean, you gotta like when your 6'4" middle who hasn't played since September 6th gets on the court and pancakes one for you, playing back row defense, but it doesn't pay off in the end because of the UCLA block, their 9th stuff block. Imani Bush, right side kill.
Her 12th kill of this match. One of 2 premier attackers for the Huskies now. Well over 400. And they have continued to try and feed her in this 4th set. However, now the trouble is she's off the court.
They have Hunt there in the middle, though, very efficient as well. Timing was off for Anna Dodson, so here is Ensley. All the way off the block and out. Washington trying to claw its way back into the set.
My goodness, these outsides from both universities having to come away, just attacking the block right now. Ensley just swings as hard as she can.
Horn hits line, dug by Howery. This will be a free ball. Nothing has come easy for either team tonight. This is a chance for the Bruins, but Ensley gets a piece and blocked to attack. Dodson hammers it home. Anna Dodson, hard to stop, 10th kill.
And AJ, I'm going to circle right back to it again. You get the touch off the block. You have to find the transition, and instead it's the misconnect and almost a free ball from Washington. So then the recycle play goes to the Bruins.
Well-rounded Bruins offense, 4 players in double figures in the kill category. Blast down, Julia Hunt.
And she goes the opposite direction, actually just in line with her approach. Love this. Rocking that one little wrist away to the sideline.
Her coach said she's comfortable fielding a variety of set types because she had to be, quote, the woman in high school because she played for a smaller school. She always had high volume, knew how to handle all sorts of different sets, but Dodson, her counterpart, answers.
Setting the 3 ball, the gap, it's about 3 feet away from the setter, creates more opportunity to find an attack. Because you're utilizing the distance, you can play with some of the angles, and Dodson does a really nice job on that last swing.
And there's no, okay, chess match, move the piece here. Ref knew that they wanted to do that coming in. He talked specifically about moving the Washington eyes and block around by setting the gap. And we saw it there. Right back to Dodson, and didn't connect quite cleanly, so a hitting error and a side out.
And a potential challenge here. Ref has the card in his hand.
And the potential challenge has turned into an actual challenge.
Ball was called out. UCLA is challenging that the ball was in.
And Paula Martin, part of our Big Ten officiating crew. Daphne Nelson is in the chair. I think that one's a little bit easier to tell.
Yeah, that ball looks in to me.
So that will be a reversal.
The coaches are batting 1,000 right now.
Yeah, has anybody missed the challenge?
No.
Man.
Yeah, that's got a piece of the line, in my opinion.
And that actually is a thing that I remember Keegan Cook mentioning when Washington lost to Kentucky in the Final Four in 2020.
They're going to reverse the call. The ball is in, point UCLA. They retain their challenge.
So you get an unlimited number of challenges if you keep
Winning.
being right. A big part of that was dating back to a Washington loss in the Final Four to Kentucky when they used some early challenges, or at least one early challenge, correctly, but then didn't have the right to use them later in the match. And that was one of the things that prompted that rule change that actually involved the Washington match in a key situation. You see the challenges, they've all been successful. 4 for 4 between the two coaching staffs. And so each team still has 2 left. High swing by Wilness. Joust situation. In play for Hunt and Washington.
My goodness, she just has one of the most active arms that you can see. It's almost as if you're putting an outside attacker that has so much range into the middle of the court. This angle is wild.
I told you would like her. You mentioned she was struggling a little bit against Wisconsin. Well, people struggle against Wisconsin, I would say, especially, freshmen getting used to this level. But she's been really good this year and is back to form tonight. Here's Wilmus. Clever play on the tip, but Dewick in double-figure digs was ready for it. Here is Haney from the middle.
If you're new to middle blocking and middle attacking, it's so important to keep your shoulders open to your setter. That's why you see that crossbody so often, because it opens up your hitting window. A really nice example there from Haney.
6'4" sophomore from nearby Kirkland, Washington. Leverette's going to break a finger by the time, somebody else's finger by the time tonight is over. She's just attacking these blocks so viciously with the high velocity swings. And usually with success. Wilmus, good read. It leads to a point for Fletcher.
Minus that last overpass, every single one of those attacks was touched by the block. You have to be able to defend behind the block. What a point for the UW.
This back and forth match continues with a timeout by UCLA. Between what maybe you thought on paper and then reality, Washington has been so good defensively this year, but they have not been able to stop UCLA for the most part tonight.
They have only had 4 total team blocks, and you can see the efficiency as well for UCLA. That is at 306. That is a huge bump in terms of a team efficiency. It's one thing to see one attacker at the 300 mark, but to see an entire team is a whole different ball game.
Last couple of matches, uncharted territory for this year's Huskies. Before the last 2 matches, there wasn't a single team that hit better than 216 against Washington. Wisconsin hit 486, which was close to the best an opponent has ever hit against Washington. And now UCLA playing well offensively today. But Haney has come in as a substitute for just the second time in the match this season. She has delivered and finds herself a point. 4-0 run for the Huskies. Leverett, another high flat swing. She got the touch.
It's almost as if you need to put your defenders not just on the purple, but outside of the purple for the Huskies on the boundary of the court to be able to dig some of these. And we spoke with Leslie about it because it was a problem against Wisconsin. They were hitting over the top of their block. She said, I'm just going to put all of my coaching staff on boxes, hit over the top of the block and practice time and time again because it was so challenging against Wisconsin. They're facing it right now with UCLA.
Leverett might as well be on a box right now because she is steering the ball wherever she wants and having a different level of success. 17 kills, just 1 error.
I mean, it's one thing to get a kill. It's a whole other thing to get one without a block touching it and a defender getting a hand on it. What an angle.
She's starting to reach deeper into her bag now. Opening for Wilmus, didn't get a clean contact there, considering the situation. Block was ready for the tip, but now on the reload, Leverett, overhead dig by Bays. Brooklyn Briscoe, setter takes the first ball. Wilmus out of system. Joy Ume comes up with a dig, but Leverett's finally denied.
AJ, it wasn't long ago we were mentioning how it was all about first ball side out and siding out at a high clip. Now these rallies are getting longer and longer. These are the adjustments starting to take shape, whether it's from a blocking position against a certain attacker or maybe loading one direction to the other. This is where the true fight is coming from.
You can see Fletcher's reaction, though. She's almost like, we finally got her. It had taken a while for them to contain Leverett, but Kuhn Fletcher, big addition this year from South Carolina in her 5th year. UCLA able to respond. And they're still up by 3 now, late in this 4th set and up by a set.
A couple nice rotations here for UCLA with their 3 primary attackers in.
How about Brooklyn Briscoe coming in for Leilani Dodson today? 5 for 9, no errors, 7 blocks. Wilmes. After the joust, here is Bush right back at it, cross court.
7 blocks in a match is a crazy number. Briscoe wasn't able to get a hold of that one, but Washington, this is where you need to be so careful if you're the Bruins. Just a 2-point margin.
Because the trouble last weekend, they had opportunities against Minnesota, Michigan, they couldn't close. They lost a couple in 5. They're in a hostile environment, a chance to put this away in 4. Feeding, Leverett. It's been working. That will be a Briscoe kill, but Leverett was the one who got it done.
Even when Leverett gets blocked, she stays calm in her motion, her approach to get back, getting outside the court. It's almost as if it doesn't matter, even if they get that first block. So impressed, because that was her 2nd swing in a row.
Sydney Breon with the serve. It creates issues. Kiki Horn, one hand, Wilmes. Wilson saves. Easy dig for Dewick. Ensley scrambles, has a look, touches it towards Pack, takes her out of the play. Dewick uses her hands. Olsen is blocked. It tickles the tape. Olsen gets it back and finds the corner. What a shot to end a long point. And Grace Olsen picks up her 14th kill.
Off of 2 hands, she set that ball to the corner. Great block from the Huskies. Still get right back in front of her. Oh, excuse me, off of 1 hand as she shoves that straight down. She's in disbelief.
Yeah, she almost acted like that wasn't what she was trying to do, but it sure looked pretty good when it happened live. To end a long point. Haney answers. Washington trying to hang on here. They're getting quite a fight from the road underdog.
I like the response there from Haney. She immediately gets the point, looks to the interior of their huddle. She's the fire and the energy right now.
Trying to still find a path to victory in this set, but the Huskies down by 3 with a middle blocker serving here and having to play defense. Got to take advantage with Horn in the front row, considering how good Leverett has been, but they can't. Horn, who is their best involved there.
Yeah, but that's a strong blocking rotation for UCLA, regardless of where you look. You have Horn in the mix, Olsen was in the mix, as well as Briscoe.
Well, Briscoe and Horn were both a part of that. Maybe Briscoe got more of the contact. Either way, both get credit. Briscoe with her 8th block.
I mean, will she reach double digits? Is that possible?
I mean, there's still time left in the 4th. It's really, really impressive. Looking to Saturday night, the Bruins take on the Gophers at the Rose Bowl. Big Ten football Saturday, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Well, Minnesota had an upset win over one LA team last week. And USC, they're hoping to beat UCLA this time around. Timeout, Washington down by 4 and down by a set, looking to stave off just their 2nd loss of the season. They need to come back and win this 4th set to send it to a 5th. Our match summary on the Washington side, Bush, Wilmes, and Hunt have all been good. The rest of the team are searching for more answers. UCLA has been very well balanced. 4 players with 10-plus kills, but more importantly, I almost think they have doubled up Washington, a 10-5 blocking advantage against a team in Washington that is top 25 in the country in blocks per set.
And a huge part of that is Briscoe obviously earning 8 of those 10 total team blocks. She was a sub into this in terms of a different matchup, and she has came to play against the Huskies.
Maybe swung the match, I mean, you could argue.
Yeah.
With Alfie Rep saying there are nuances in each matchup that make him decide which middle to play. He went with Brooklyn Briscoe over Leilani Dodson, and Briscoe has delivered. Hunt hits it right at Peyton Dewick, who has 15 digs, and Olsen tools the block. UCLA is on the verge.
Wing defenders so important against the middle attack. Dewick on her left side, or excuse me, that's Lutz on her left side.
Lutz is in there as the other libero to serve. So, my bad there. But he used to accounting for just one player in the libero jersey historically. This year, it's different. But now Dewitt comes back in.
Well, and that's what's wild is the ability to have 2 liberos, right?
It's a rule change this year. Teams typically will use it the way UCLA has. If a player is a better server like Lutz, they don't have to use an extra sub to get her in there as a server. But Olsen just keeps on cooking. 16 kills. She's over 450.
Coming into this matchup, I thought it was going to be all about the middles, but so far it's been about Grace Olsen on the right side and Leverett on the outside. 16 and 17 total kills for the Bruins.
Barton back in, smashes one line. Excellent dig by Dewick, her 16th. Fletcher left side, Dewick was waiting. Popped up and over. Good alertness by Pat. Hunt goes to town. And finally, Washington can put one away.
To UCLA's credit, their wing defenders are doing everything they can against Hunt. But again, you just saw in one rally her ability to cut back that ball to the right corner. So tough to do. She's working hard right now for the Huskies.
By most measures, she has been, Hunt, one of the best freshmen, maybe period, in the country, but certainly one of the best freshman middles. Timing was off, so Bays can read it. Chance to score for Washington, but Dewick has been vacuuming those up on those cross-court swings. Howery, Wilmus turns it instead, but it's dug by Sydney Breon. Washington says there was no touch, and the officials agree that was just into the net, so it's 4 touches.
It feels like UCLA is getting a bit more of the defensive advantage here in the backcourt. However, when you look to the total digs for each team, they're right at about the same mark in the mid-50s.
Bruins have funneled the ball to their libero very well, though. Dewick up to 18 digs. Wilmer shoves it off the block. Washington has some life.
It's go time right now for the Huskies.
Well, historically in Alaska Airlines Arena, Washington is a very difficult team to actually put away. Seen a lot of teams come in here over the years, think they have the match, and Washington has other ideas. Upcoming schedule for the Huskies. This is the lone match in a 5 of 6 stretch on the road. So Washington goes and plays 3 in a row on the road after this one.
And next up is Oregon, again coming off the win to SC. You can guarantee that Oregon has one of the quickest offenses imaginable. It's going to be a big task to have to face off against the Ducks.
And then for UCLA, to play in that battle for Los Angeles on Sunday. That'll be on the network at USC. The 4:30 local time for that one. UCLA also stays on the road in a significant way. Have to face top 10.
potentially the slide here.
Kuhn Fletcher. There's contact. 4-0 run for Washington.
It all starts with the service pressure. Got the Bruins out of system.
Neither team has a timeout left in this set. Wilmes missed it. Audra Wilmes working on a double-double. Career high time, 13 digs to go with 12 kills, but a big miss there.
A missed opportunity. That's huge. They had a tough serve, got the easy recycled play back over. You want that back. And you want that ball to go to Hunt.
And the problem was Hunt had that touch.
Yep.
On the first contact, but that was a chance to tie the set up. Instead, UCLA up 2. With their best server behind the line, but Wilmes sides out for the Dogs.
What a response. Go right back to her, and she finds a wild angle. Duick has been digging everything. She can't dig that one.
And she just cut that a little bit further. Another chance to tie. And Bayes does it with an ace.
Feel the energy in this place. A dagger of a serve.
That had some movement on it, to say the least. This is the third of 4 sets that has been tied at 23. Serves it right back at Riley. Leverett. Block touch, just enough. Wilmes has to two-hand this over, picks out a great location. Same thing from Olsen. Wilmes, full swing, but she's blocked. Anna Dodson, the 6th-year COVID senior, gets a match point for UCLA.
Wilmes tries to attack down the line and instead finds the right hand of Anna Dodson.
Dodson's been the best blocker in the conference in league play. And a match point for UCLA, and the server is Joy Ume, the UC Irvine transfer. Huskies have to side out to extend the match. Fletcher. Leverett can end it off the foot, and we're still going. Off the foot of Bayes. Unbelievable. Leverett. It's down. Sheridan Leverett, her 18th kill. Even some impromptu soccer couldn't keep things going for Washington. What a match point, and UCLA with the road upset in 4.